A 9-year-old girl was standing outside a pawn shop in Birmingham, Alabama, holding her late father's guitar, ready to sell it for $100 to help her mother pay rent. She had no idea that the man walking toward her with a black hoodie and sunglasses was about to change her entire life. What happened next left everyone who witnessed it in tears, and the story went viral across the world. Her name was Emma Collins, and she was 9 years old. Small for her age, with brown hair pulled back in a ponytail and eyes that looked older than they should. She stood on the sidewalk outside Mike's Pawn and Music on a cold Tuesday morning in November 2019, clutching a black Gibson Les Paul guitar case that was almost as big as she was. Emma's father, Daniel Collins, had been a musician. Not famous, not wealthy, just a working-class guy who played in local bars and small venues around Birmingham. He loved rock music, especially the classics: Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple. His pride and joy was his 1978 Gibson Les Paul, the guitar he'd saved for 2 years to buy when he was 21 years old. Daniel had taught Emma 3 chords on that guitar: G, C, and D. With these 3 chords, he'd told her, you can play 1,000 songs. She was 6 years old then, her tiny fingers barely able to press the strings down. 3 years later, Daniel was gone. A car accident on Interstate 65. One moment he was driving home from a gig, the next he was hit by a drunk driver who ran a red light. Daniel died on impact. He was 34 years old. Emma's mother, Rebecca, was left alone with 2 kids, a mountain of medical debt from Emma's younger brother's asthma treatments, and no life insurance. Daniel had meant to get it, always said he would, but he'd been young and healthy and figured there was time. There wasn't. For 2 years, Rebecca held things together. Barely. She worked double shifts at a diner, came home exhausted, tried to be present for her kids. But the bills kept piling up. The rent was 2 months overdue. The landlord had given them until Friday to come up with $1,200 or they'd be evicted. Emma understood more than her mother realized. She'd heard the phone calls, seen the stack of red envelopes marked "Final Notice," watched her mother cry quietly in the kitchen when she thought no one was looking. Emma also knew where her father had kept his guitar. It was in the closet of what used to be his music room, now just a storage space filled with boxes and memories. The guitar case was covered in stickers from different venues: the Nick, Saturn, Zydeco. One night, Emma overheard her mother on the phone with her grandmother. "I don't know what else to do, Mom. I've sold everything I can. The TV, my jewelry, his tools. I can't lose this apartment. The kids have been through enough." That's when Emma made her decision. She waited until her mother left for her morning shift at the diner. Her little brother was at a friend's house. Emma opened the closet, pulled out the guitar case, and held it for a long moment. She could almost smell her father's cologne, hear his laugh, feel his hands guiding hers over the frets. "I'm sorry, Daddy," she whispered, "but Mommy needs help." She'd Googled pawn shops nearby. Mike's Pawn and Music was only 6 blocks away. Emma wrote a note for her mother. "Gone to help. Back soon. Love, Emma." The walk took 20 minutes. The guitar case was heavy, awkward, her arms ached, but Emma kept going, driven by a determination that no 9-year-old should have to feel. She'd also Googled, "How much is a Gibson Les Paul worth?" The answers ranged wildly, from a few hundred to several $1,000s. But Emma didn't know anything about guitar values, vintage models, or collector's items. She just knew her mother needed $1,200. She'd sell the guitar for $100, then maybe her mother's jewelry for more, maybe sell her bike, her iPad, whatever it took. Emma stood outside the pawn shop, working up the courage to go inside, when someone walking down the street stopped and stared at the guitar case in her hands. The man was tall, dressed in all black, jeans, hoodie, boots, and sunglasses, even though it was overcast. He had long, dark hair and walked with a slight shuffle, hands in his pockets. He stopped about 10 feet from Emma, tilted his head and looked at the guitar case. Then he looked at Emma, then back at the guitar case. "That's a Gibson case," the man said. His accent was British, thick. Emma nodded, suddenly nervous. She'd been taught not to talk to strangers, but she was on a public street and there were people around. "What are you doing with it, love?" the man asked, walking closer. I'm selling it," Emma said quietly. The man stopped. Selling it? A little girl like you? That your dad's guitar? Emma's eyes filled with tears. She nodded. Where's your dad then? He died, Emma said, her voice barely a whisper. 2 years ago. The man's expression changed, softened. He crouched down to Emma's level. I'm sorry, sweetheart. That's tough, really tough, Emma wiped her eyes. My mom needs money for rent. I thought if I sell this, maybe it'll help. The man was quiet for a moment. Can I see it? Emma hesitated, then set the case down on the sidewalk and opened it. Inside was the 1978 Gibson Les Paul, black with gold hardware, a few scratches and dings that gave it character. The man's breath caught. Bloody hell, he muttered. He looked at Emma. Do you know what this is worth? Emma shook her head. I looked online. It said $100. The man actually laughed, but it wasn't mean. It was sad. Love, this guitar's worth at least $3,000. Maybe more. Emma's eyes went wide. 3,000? At least. And you were going to sell it to a pawn shop for $100. Emma looked down. I didn't know. My mom needs help. The man stood up, pulled out his phone, and made a call. Yeah, it's me. I'm going to be late. No, something came up. Trust me, it's important. He hung up and looked at Emma. What's your name, sweetheart? Emma, she said quietly. Emma, that's a lovely name. I'm Ozzy. Emma didn't recognize him. She was 9 years old and her father had played her classic rock, but she didn't know faces, just songs. Listen, Emma, Ozzy said gently, you can't sell this guitar. Not like this, not to a pawn shop. This is your dad's guitar. It's worth more than money. But my mom. I know, Ozzy interrupted softly. I understand. You're trying to help your mom. That's very brave. But there's a better way. He pulled out his phone again. What's your mom's number? I want to talk to her. Emma recited the number. Ozzy dialed. It rang 4 times before Rebecca answered. Her voice rushed. Hello? Hello? Is this Emma's mom? Yes, who's this? Is Emma okay? She's fine. She's right here with me. My name is Ozzy Osbourne. I'm a musician. Your daughter is outside a pawn shop trying to sell her father's guitar to help you with rent. There was a long silence. I'm sorry. Who did you say you are? Ozzy Osbourne. I know that sounds mad, but it's true. I'm standing here with your daughter. She's got a 1978 Gibson Les Paul that belonged to her dad, and she's trying to sell it for $100. Rebecca's voice broke. Oh my God, Emma. Emma did that. She did, and I can't let her sell it. This guitar is part of her father, but I also understand you need help. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to help you, both of you. Can you come here? To Mike's Pawn and Music on 3rd Avenue? I'm at work. I can't just... Yes, you can, Ozzy said firmly. Tell your boss it's an emergency. Because it is. Your daughter needs you, and I'm not leaving until you get here. 30 minutes later, Rebecca arrived, breathless, terrified. She saw Emma first, ran to her, grabbed her. Baby, what were you thinking? You can't just leave the house like that. Emma started crying. I wanted to help, Mommy. You're so sad all the time, and I thought if I sold Daddy's guitar... Rebecca held her daughter tight, sobbing. Oh, Emma. Baby, no, we'll figure it out. We always do. That's when Ozzy stepped forward, and Rebecca finally saw him, really saw him. Her face went pale. Oh my God, you really are Ozzy Osbourne. I am, Ozzy said with a small smile. And your daughter is one of the bravest kids I've ever met. Rebecca looked at Emma, then at Ozzy, then at the guitar case on the ground. I don't understand. What's happening? Ozzy picked up the guitar case gently. Your husband was a musician? Rebecca nodded, wiping her eyes. Yes, he played bars, small venues, nothing big, but he loved it. Music was his life. What was his name? Daniel Collins. Ozzy nodded. Daniel Collins, a good name. He played a Les Paul, a 78, beautiful instrument. He opened the case again, looked at the guitar. He took care of it. You can tell, a musician who loves his gear. Rebecca's voice was barely a whisper. It was his favorite thing in the world. Besides me and the kids, Ozzy looked at Emma. Did your dad teach you to play? Emma nodded. 3 chords. G, C, and D. Ozzy smiled. The most important 3 chords in rock and roll. Your dad was smart. He looked at Rebecca. Emma was trying to sell this to help you with rent. She thought it was worth $100. Rebecca covered her mouth. Oh, Emma. It's actually worth about $3,000, Ozzy continued, maybe more to the right collector. But here's the thing. It's worth more than that to your family. This guitar is a piece of your husband, of Emma's father. Once you sell it, it's gone forever. I know, Rebecca said, tears streaming down her face, but I don't have a choice. We're being evicted on Friday if I can't come up with $1,200. I've sold everything else. I don't know what else to do. Ozzy reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out his wallet. He took out a credit card and handed it to Rebecca. Use this. Rebecca stared at it. I can't. I can't take your money. You're not taking it, Ozzy said firmly. I'm giving it. There's a difference, Mr. Osbourne. Ozzy. Just, Ozzy, I can't accept this. It's too much. I don't even know you. Ozzy's expression became serious. Let me tell you something. When I was young, younger than Emma, my family was poor. Like, really poor. My dad worked in a factory, my mom cleaned houses. We barely had enough to eat sometimes. Ozzy continued. When I was a kid, I stole a television once. Can you believe that? I was desperate, wanted to help my family. I got caught, got sent to a juvenile detention center. It was one of the worst times of my life. But you know what I learned? That desperation makes you do things you never thought you'd do. And Emma here, he gestured to the little girl. She was ready to give up her father's memory to help her mother. That's not something you ignore. Rebecca was sobbing now. Emma was too. Even Ozzy's eyes were wet. I've been given a lot in my life, Ozzy said. More than I probably deserve. Money, fame, success. But none of that matters if I can't help someone when they need it. Your husband was a musician, a brother in arms. We're a family, us musicians. We take care of our own. He pressed the credit card into Rebecca's hand. Pay your rent. Buy some groceries. Get your son's medicine. Whatever you need. And you keep that guitar. You keep it safe for Emma. Because one day, maybe she'll want to learn more than 3 chords. Maybe she'll want to play her father's songs. And that guitar needs to be there when she's ready. Rebecca couldn't speak. She just nodded, holding her daughter close. Ozzy knelt down to Emma's level. Emma, can I tell you something important? Emma nodded, wiping her tears. Your dad would be very proud of you. What you tried to do today, trying to help your mom, that took real courage. But your dad wouldn't want you to sell his guitar. He'd want you to play it. So I want you to promise me something. What? Emma asked. Promise me you'll learn to play, really play. Not just 3 chords, but songs. Your dad's favorite songs. Promise me you'll keep his music alive. Emma nodded. I promise, Ozzy smiled. Good girl. He stood up and looked at Rebecca. There's one more thing. He pulled out his phone and made another call. Sharon? Yeah, it's me. I need you to do something. 2 weeks later, Rebecca received a call from a music school in Birmingham. Mrs. Collins? This is Birmingham School of Music. We wanted to inform you that Emma has been enrolled in our youth program. Full scholarship, guitar lessons, music theory, everything. It's been paid for through high school graduation. Rebecca was stunned. I don't understand. I didn't apply for anything. It was arranged by a private donor, the woman on the phone said. They asked to remain anonymous, but they were very specific. Emma Collins, guitar lessons, full scholarship. Rebecca knew exactly who it was. Emma started lessons the following week. Her teacher was a retired session musician who had played with some of the biggest names in rock. When he saw the 1978 Gibson Les Paul, his eyes lit up. That's a beautiful guitar. Take care of it. Guitars like this have soul. Emma did take care of it. She practiced every day, her small fingers slowly getting stronger, more confident. She learned her father's favorite songs, Iron Man, Stairway to Heaven, Smoke on the Water. Months passed. Emma got better. Rebecca got a better job with health insurance. They moved to a safer neighborhood. Life wasn't easy, but it was better. Manageable. Then, on Emma's 10th birthday, there was a knock on the door. Rebecca opened it to find a delivery man holding a large box. Delivery for Emma Collins. Inside the box was a brand new Fender Stratocaster, cherry red, with a note written in messy handwriting. Emma, your dad's guitar is for keeping. This one's for playing. Keep practicing. Keep your promise. Rock on. Ozzy. There was also a signed photo of Ozzy holding a guitar with another message. To Emma, a future rock star. Don't forget the little people when you're famous. Emma cried. Rebecca cried. They framed the photo and put it on the wall next to a picture of Daniel. But the story didn't end there, because someone had recorded the moment outside the pawn shop on their phone. The video was shaky, taken from across the street by someone who recognized Ozzy and started filming. It showed Ozzy talking to Emma, examining the guitar, making the phone call to Rebecca. It showed the moment Rebecca arrived and broke down crying. It showed Ozzy hugging them both. The person who filmed it posted it on social media with the caption, "Just saw Ozzy Osbourne stop a little girl from selling her dead father's guitar." Faith in humanity restored. The video went viral. Within days, it had millions of views. News outlets picked it up. Ozzy Osbourne's random act of kindness goes viral. The Prince of Darkness shows his softer side. Ozzy didn't do interviews about it. He didn't comment on social media. He just shared the video once with a simple caption, "This is what rock and roll is about. Family, music, taking care of each other." But the impact was enormous. Other musicians started sharing their own stories of helping fans in need. A movement started. #MusiciansFamilyFound. Artists would help struggling musicians, pay for equipment, cover medical bills, offer scholarships. Emma's story became a symbol, a reminder that behind every guitar, every song, every note, there's a human story. And sometimes, those stories need a helping hand. Years later, in an interview, someone asked Ozzy about that day. "Why did you help her? You could have just walked by." Ozzy's answer was simple. "Because I saw myself in that little girl. I saw every kid who's ever lost a parent, every family that's struggled, and I saw a guitar that deserved to stay in the family. Music saved my life. The least I could do was help music stay in hers." Today, Emma Collins is 15 years old. She plays guitar in her high school band. She still has her father's 1978 Gibson Les Paul, carefully maintained, rarely played. It sits in a room, a memorial and a promise. But she practices every day on the cherry red Stratocaster Ozzy gave her. She's good, really good. Her teachers say she has a future in music if she wants it, and every time she picks up that guitar, she remembers two things: the father she lost and the stranger who helped her keep his memory alive. Sometimes the greatest acts of kindness come from the most unexpected places. Sometimes the Prince of Darkness is actually an angel in disguise. And sometimes a 9-year-old girl's desperate attempt to help her mother leads to a moment that reminds the world what really matters: family, music, and the courage to help someone in need. That's the story of the day Ozzy Osbourne showed up outside a pawn shop and changed a little girl's life forever.